Hey y'all, my name is Jessica Eager and I am the owner and founder of Hello Life Birthing Services. I wanted to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about my channel and why I'm here. I knew from a young age that I wanted to be a nurse. So when I went into nursing school, I had all kinds of hopes to be an emergency room nurse, an oncology nurse. My dreams and aspirations changed dramatically through the whole program. But I never imagined that I wanted to be an OB or labor and delivery nurse. When I graduated nursing school, my husband and I moved to a new state where we didn't really know anybody. I started a new job at Providence Healthcare System in Texas, where I worked on the renal dialysis unit. I learned a ton about pathophysiology, anatomy, how to take care of patients, how to touch and talk to and report to doctors and interact with people. But I didn't love it. There was a lot of death and dying where I was, and I craved joy. It was at that moment that I decided to change directions completely, and I applied for a job at a neighboring hospital in their labor and delivery department. It was a tertiary care center, which means they take in a high volume of patients and a high risk amount of patients. I, at that unit in the hospital, was able to learn a lot about the OB world, which I really hadn't had any experience with at all outside of nursing school, and in that moment there wasn't a whole lot there. When I started on that unit, I immediately fell in love and knew that I wasn't going to be doing anything else with my career. As I progressed through the OB field, I learned some more. I traveled to different hospitals and learned a lot about taking care of patients and different aspects of taking care of patients. Where I started in the tertiary care center, we did a lot of epidurals and a lot of C-sections. The next place that I worked at was a lot more crunchy, a lot more granola, where I learned a lot about normal physiological birth, and I fell absolutely in love with that. The ability to help the people that were having babies, their families, without being so hands-on and so invasive with the care that I was providing was right up my alley. I learned an incredible amount from the nurses that I worked with in Flagstaff, but eventually my husband and I decided that it was time to move back to where he was from. I got a job at the hospital there and continued along my nursing career in the OB unit there. During the pandemic, my husband had an opportunity to retire me from working full-time, and it was in that off period of working where I was home with my babies where I had a prompting to teach childbirth education. Through my whole nursing career, so over the last 13 to 14 years, I loved teaching. I love precepting new nurses, I love learning, and I love teaching the patients and families that I interact with all the time. So it wasn't a surprise to contemplate teaching childbirth education, although it was completely different from what I had been used to teaching in the hospital. From there, I took a Lamaze seminar where I continued to learn a whole lot more about physiological birth and actually realized that most physicians, most nurses working in big hospital systems never actually get to experience what normal physiological birth is and how it works. During this seminar, my whole world was turned upside down, and I learned how that body actually works with the whole labor process. And at that point, I had already had 4 babies of my own and never really understood exactly what was going on in the body. So as I learned to become a true childbirth educator, I developed my passion for teaching people, clients, moms, dads, families, what physiological birth is and how they can empower themselves both at home in birth centers and in the hospital to attain what they want out of a birth journey that they've always desired. As I've taught childbirth education classes over the last 4 years. I've developed my own curriculum and taught many, many families all about the joy of birth, the beauty in birth, and how to empower themselves to attain their birth that they want. As I started this embark down social media, I wanted to be able to reach more people than I had been just in the small town that I live in. And so that brings me to this YouTube channel and my social media platforms. My goal is to empower as many people as I can to obtain the childbirth education that will help them through their birth journey with evidence-based knowledge. I find that in a lot of the healthcare systems nowadays, it is a provider dictated care and not a patient, client, or person dictated care. I've learned a lot about what shared decision making is, and I want to empower each of you to be able to obtain that. I'm grateful for this platform and the ability to be able to do that, and I hope you follow along on my journey in helping as many people as I can find that birth purpose and the beauty in their birth. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I look forward to interacting with you guys soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe.